Simple question. Who will be worth more in 5 years to the card market? Lamelo or Zion? Let's find out. What's going on, guys? Matt here, back again with another video. Before we start, smash the like button and hit subscribe if you enjoy sports card content, and comment down below who you think will be worth more in the card market in 5 years' time. Now for this comparison, I'm going to take the two biggest names from the last two draft classes in Lamelo Ball and Zion Williamson, and go through a list of factors and see who I think will be worth more in 5 years' time in the card market. Again, this is my own opinion and research, but I'm happy for you guys to disagree. The first category we're going to go over is team success. Team success is crucial in the card market as people generally like to invest in winners. Players that are perennial losers aren't as investment worthy as the hype is low on them. Both teams have struggled to make the playoffs over the past few years, but the Hornets have had a turnaround over this season, and this turnaround is attributed to the addition of Lamelo Ball and the veteran Gordon Hayward. Both teams still have their picks over the next few years, with the Pelicans having slightly better draft capital due to their pick swaps with the Bucks and the Lakers. I do think the Hornets have a slightly better chance at team success as the Eastern Conference is weaker than the West. Though their records are quite similar with a difference of 2 games, the Hornets have a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference while the Pelicans are fighting for a play-in spot. If the Pelicans were in the East though, they'd actually have the play-in spot for that conference. Looking at their rosters though, I do prefer the Hornets team slightly more as they have a nice mix of veterans and young players. I do like the partnership of Zion and Brandon Ingram a little bit more, but I do think they need some more leadership and veteran presence around them, plus some more role players. Having a lot of good young players doesn't mean you'll win eventually. You need some leadership to eventually guide that team. The Pelicans defensively also have to improve as their defensive rating is slightly worse than the Hornets. This is partly due to the Drew Holiday trade to the Bucks, which gave them Eric Bledsoe, but who hasn't been great defensively as he has been in previous years. In terms of their coaches, I'd say they're about even. The Hornets coach James Borrego has consistently got an improvement out of the Hornets team each season he's coached, while Stan Van Gundy has had great success in taking a team to the finals, but has had average stints recently with the Pistons and now the Pelicans. Let's now look at the marketability of each player. Now both players are highly marketable for different reasons. First off, Zion has been hyped since high school due to his incredible size and dunks caught on mixtapes. There's been many great basketball players since LeBron James, but I do believe Zion's the most marketable since the King. A 2019 list of marketable athletes by Pro Sports Media actually had Zion ranked 3rd, and in that same year, Zion got signed to the second biggest rookie shoe deal in NBA history, only trailing LeBron James. Going back to college, Zion also probably went to the most recognizable university in basketball in Duke University. And we all remember the iconic moment where Zion's Nike shoe exploded under his weight. This moment was big enough to wipe off 1% off Nike's share price, as there were memes going around social media to highlight the moment. The Pelicans winning the #1 pick in the draft lottery was enough to sell 3,000 season tickets alone. Now let's move to Lamelo. So obviously he's part of the Ball family. I think whilst a lot of people dislike the Ball family, they do command a lot of media attention and hype. It also helps that the Ball family have had their own reality show over the past 4 years. Lamelo's brother Lonzo has had poor stints throughout his career, but I feel like his prices have always exceeded his actual play. So regardless of play, I do feel like Lamelo will always have a higher floor than other rookies because of that extra media coverage. Lamelo also played professional basketball in Australia, which did help his market in Australia. So I do see the market slightly favouring Lamelo when it comes to Australians. Like Zion, Lamelo also signed a huge shoe deal with Puma worth around $100 million, joining the likes of RJ Barrett and Michael Porter Jr. They both share the ability to produce highlight reel plays, which is important because we've seen players blow up based off one play. Another common thing is that they both play for small market NBA teams. So if either of them move to a big market team, this can influence their market as well. When I do look at them overall in terms of marketability, I do have to lean towards Zion as he's had that LeBron sort of level of hype since college. Let's take a look at their injury history now. Both players have had their fair share of injuries during their playing careers so far. Now everyone looks at Zion's weight and automatically attributes that to an increased risk of injury. But so far in his career, I do have a little bit more faith in Zion's body as he's also cut down his weight. He's had 2 major injuries so far. The first when his Nike shoe exploded under him, causing a light knee sprain. And then the second, a meniscal injury, which caused him to miss 3 months of basketball. He does have a more aggressive and athletic playstyle than Lamelo, with more dunks and constant banging at the rim. He also shoots the 4th most free throws per game, meaning he does get fouled a lot near the ring. Hopefully with the increased fouls called on him, it doesn't decrease the longevity of his career. Lamelo has also had his fair share of injuries in his playing career. His NBL stint was ended by a bruised foot, but I do believe that they ended his season just so his draft stock wouldn't be jeopardized. And he's only just returned from a fractured wrist, which was sustained in a fall during a basketball game. So that's a common injury I really wouldn't be too worried about. I'd give the injury history a slight edge to Lamelo, as his injuries have been a little bit more minor and his playstyle doesn't require as much explosiveness as Zion. Lastly, let's look at their potential for the future. This might seem like a hot take, but I do believe that Zion is the most physically dominant athlete that we've seen in the NBA since Shaq in the early 90s. And it might be easy to say Zion is a crash and bash sort of player, but in reality he's much more than that. You'd think he'd be very easy to defend by just swarming him in the post and not contesting his 3-point shot, but Zion really plays to his strengths, being able to maintain a ridiculous 61% percentage from the field, whilst also maintaining an average of 27 points per game. And he's doing this in his 2nd NBA season at the age of 20, which is crazy because he can't even legally buy alcohol yet and he's clowning on the rest of the league. He's currently leading the league at 20 points per game in the paint, which is a number that no one's gone near since Shaq in his early Laker years. Zion's actually a very underrated passer, and his assist percentage has gone up each month when he's been given more opportunity to handle the ball. I think if you can surround Zion with sharp shooters and allow him to be a point forward, that could be the formula to being a winning team. Barring injury, I can definitely see Zion being an all-time great. Just imagine if Zion can develop his 3-point shot into a 35% conversion rate. He will literally be unguardable. The comparison for Zion has always been a young Blake Griffin, and I do think that's a great comparison, but in my opinion, I already think Zion is better athletically and offensively. Hopefully his playstyle won't lead to injuries like Blake Griffin, who has pretty much become an inefficient 3-point shooter. Now let's switch to Lamelo's potential. Initially Lamelo didn't start for the Hornets, but after numerous injuries was finally put into the starting lineup. As a starter, he's averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds and 6 assists, whilst also averaging 45% from the field and an impressive 39% from the 3-point line. A massive knock on Lamelo during his draft was his efficiency, as he only shot 25% in the NBL from the 3-point line. This is all in credit to Lamelo's confidence, and don't forget there was no summer league and it was a shortened training camp. Lamelo is also a very exciting player as he pushes the ball up the court, and the Hornets are actually ranked 2nd in pace when he's playing. With a high ranking in pace comes more scoring opportunity, and it really just becomes a more exciting game for the fans. Lamelo does need to improve on his defense, but he does have the physical tools to at least be an average defender, being a taller and lengthier guard. Lamelo was compared to a taller Jason Kidd in the draft, and I definitely agree. I would say he's Jason Kidd with a better shooting touch and a reduced playmaking ability. Jason Kidd was a 10-time NBA All-Star, making the All-NBA First Team 5 times. So if Jason Kidd is Lamelo's ceiling, that's a huge success. If I really had to pick between the two, I'm going to lean towards Zion, provided his body can hold up better long term. But you can't deny the fact that Lamelo's playstyle may have him relevant a little bit longer. My plan in the off-season is to pick up a numbered Zion card and hold long term, as I've been extremely happy with his performances so far in his career. I think it's going to be exciting to not only see these two duel it out, but other young players like Luka, SGA, and Giannis. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I appreciate it if you've made it till the end. Let me know down below what you guys think, and as always guys, I'll see you guys in future videos. Take care.